Hey, good morning. Here we are. It's Friday, and that means the Lion's Den. We're on the front porch of the weekend, and I've got a greatly anticipated guest with me here today. You guys have reached out to me and wanted to hear about this young lady, and you're going to do it here in just a minute, and she's going to help escort us into the weekend. So I'm very happy to have her here today. Going to introduce her in just a moment, though many of you know that she was scheduled to be on today, and grateful that she took time out of her schedule. But before we do that, let me thank a few of our sponsors, starting with Berry Financial Group. Berry Financial Group includes income planning, Medicare supplements, legacy, life insurance planning, retirement strategies, long-term care, estate planning, and tax services. See Richard Berry and his team. Call them at 1-888-774-6181. Thank you, Richard. Then we have ARS Marketing, Steve Johnson. He's been in business for decades. His team has been doing branding products for business and government agents for over 30 years with over 1 million other branded products. We have you covered completely with tangible advertising. Call them at 843-774-0186. And finally, we have Lee and Loeb earrings. Lightweight, unique earrings from bold pieces to everyday elegance. No two pieces are exactly alike. Each design is perfectly imperfect. Located inside of Merlin and Lake City. Call 843-394-1494. We want to thank our advertisers for supporting us in this thing. And now we're going to move on at the task at hand and the formal introduction to Miss Grace-Miller Moody. Thank you for being with us, ma'am.
Thank you for inviting me.
Yeah, I tell you, we finally hooked up. You've had, I guess your life's kind of been a whirlwind, so you have so much going on. I appreciate you taking time to
I'm
be
glad
here.
to be here.
Well, we're going to dig in a little bit in your early life and then the journey to the voice, which is very, very exciting. Hey, before I do that, two things.
Yeah.
I got a little intel from your mother. We collaborated on some things, so I got some notes I'm going to go off of.
I love it.
But before those autographs get too expensive, and so I can tell my grandchildren, I was lucky enough to have them, that, yeah, I was cool because I had this star on, which I'm convinced you're going to be.
Oh, I'm
How
honored.
about autograph this note right
Of course.
there for me?
Of course.
Why it's free. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
I appreciate it.
Of course.
Thank you for not covering my words because I'm going to read some things too. Hey, also got another thing. Lee and Loeb, who I was one of our advertisers, she does this, and she made these specifically for you. These are the Lee and Loeb
That's so
earrings.
sweet.
So she asked me to do those.
That is so sweet.
Right.
You'll have to tell her I said thank you.
I surely will. Okay, so the first thing that I asked your mom before we get started on your journey, I love the name Grace.
Oh,
I mean, it's just so elegant. But there was a little story behind it.
yes.
You know, Southern families, they kind of draw back on names, their heritage, so to speak. So I guess it would have been your great-great-grandmother
Yes,
that was
sir.
his name?
Yes.
Grace?
Yes.
Is that right?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And then they wanted to name me Miller, and everyone was like having a fit that one of the family's names wasn't in it. So it just became a double name. It was perfect.
You gotta appease everybody.
Right?
For the
Exactly.
most part.
Exactly.
Well, it is very much a beautiful name.
Thank you.
So we were talking earlier, and I know your folks. I mean, they hail from Lakeview for the most part. Now, you spent you were raised in Florence, though, right?
Yes, sir.
Because they moved
Yes.
over here some time ago.
Yes.
But even your dad, one summer, I coached him at PD Academy, where he
Yes.
played football. And we spoke earlier. Your mother was a good friend of my sister, Vicky.
Yes.
So we've got some ties that
Exactly.
we didn't even know that we had. So yeah, that was exciting to me. So your mom said that you were singing at 8 months old. Now you can't remember that, but
I don't remember
But
it
do you
at
remember
all.
going around the house singing?
I definitely do. And to my brothers, it was so annoying at the time because I'm sure it didn't sound great when I was younger. But yeah, I love singing like Jesus Take the Wheel by Carrie Underwood all the time. I would sing it nonstop all the time. And then just in the shower, anytime I had free time, I was always singing or just around the house. And it was just funny to my family.
So I can so much, sorry, but I can empathize with your brother. I had a sister that sang all the time. And I've got a brother that's a year younger than me. So we were almost kind of like y'all. It was a little bit of a different age. But if I ever hear, well, the sun will come up tomorrow one more time, she went around the house singing that constantly. And it just drove me nuts. So I can kind of, I think you probably sing better than my sister.
Oh.
She's a pretty good singer.
It was so funny. My brother's friends were like, yeah, at the time you weren't that good, but now, it's worked out.
They
And
can
I'm like,
appreciate
okay,
it.
well.
So we're just ad-libbing here. So earlier we were talking, so you've got two brothers.
I do.
And one's a twin.
Yes, sir.
And I asked you, do y'all look anything alike? Would I be able to tell that you guys
Not
are
at
twins?
all. It's so funny. We look nothing alike at all. And then me and my younger brother look more alike. So people are automatically inclined to think that we're twins rather than my older. Yeah.
Okay.
So.
But do y'all connect like twins do? I know sometimes when there's a gender difference,
right.
There's not quite the connection for many reasons, but do y'all kind of connect mentally?
I think we do in the sense when we're around each other, but other than that, I don't think there's anything like that. We're very different, but I think it meshes well.
Yeah. Y'all consider yourself close?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. And then you have another younger brother that is still in high school, right?
Yes, sir.
And you had mentioned to me, and unbeknownst to me, but I tell you, he shows strength. So he had leukemia?
He did when he was younger. And that was so cool. It was like the story behind Sunday Morning on The Voice and everything. So they really loved that. They really loved hearing about it. We got to go see Maroon 5 and see them perform that song after he got into remission. So it was so cool and such a full circle moment.
I can't wait to talk more about that. Maroon 5, I've seen them 3 times. And
they're amazing.
They really are. And I can't wait to get to the video. We'll hold off on a little bit, but your performance was just extraordinary.
Oh, thank you.
But let's don't skip. I want to talk a little bit. So your whole family, according to your mom, were musically inclined, right?
Yes, sir.
To the point, play by ear.
Yes, sir.
Which is absolutely a gift from God.
It is.
I had a mother to play by ear as well, and she could play anything.
Yeah.
And a quick story, when I didn't appreciate it at the time, when I was a youngster, she had 11 brothers and sisters, and they had a gospel band, and they'd come to our house and they'd play. And
oh, wow.
I'm telling you, they could get down. But at that age, I couldn't stand it. I shut every door, go to the back road. Now I'd give anything
to go back.
Go back and hear that, because they were very talented. Family reunions at my house, guitar always comes out. Or
that's
they're
amazing.
always around a piano. Yeah. Is it kind of like that at your house? Or?
Not necessarily. I feel like the side of my mom's that was musically inclined, we I don't know, they live in Texas, so it wasn't like, it was kind of, a little gap. But growing up, I didn't really know that we had a side to our family that was musically inclined. So it was news to me that, we did, and that's kind of where I probably got it from. But it was so cool to just, I think people are so intrigued by it because nobody in my close-knit family sings or does any kind of musical instrument, nothing. So that was a really cool story for everyone to kind of look into, is where did this come from? Right. So yeah.
Do you play any instruments? Or?
I don't. So that's also a cool thing that I found out about myself, is I've always loved writing. So that was what I went into in Charleston, in College of Charleston. I majored in English and was so intrigued into writing. And then I was like, okay, I'm going to stray away from that a little bit. But now, discovering how much I love music and singing, it's all come to tie in. So, yeah.
I can't wait to get to the videos, because not only the voice, but there was just so much passion and presence.
Oh, thank you.
Especially for your age.
Thank you.
You showed a lot of confidence. You had to be just churning inside.
Oh, yes.
There,
I was so nervous. All of us waiting backstage, we can hear everything. So it was just super nerve-wracking. But that was when I was really leaning into my faith. And it was so exciting to kind of see how God was working through me, and how much power and confidence he was giving me.
Outstanding.
And
that's called the Holy Spirit.
Yeah. And Jeremiah 29:11 was the
go
whole,
girl.
It was what led me to, get the confidence to go up there. And just my twin actually sent me a text that morning saying, God's got you, you're here for a reason. And
I
you're
get a little chills.
Oh,
for real.
But yeah, it was so exciting to, be there and just asking God to enter the room before I did. And that was really what gave me the confidence. Even though I saw the nerves and everything, it was so exciting and awesome to do it.
Well, let's talk about that journey, and you know, feel free, don't leave anything out.
Yeah.
But when did the voice become a possibility? I mean, what'd you do to get there?
Yeah, so my dad had been on me for years. He was like, "This is your God-given gift. You need to use it." And I was just like, "Okay, like, yeah, I can kind of see myself doing it, but not necessarily." And I feel like Florence didn't have that many opportunities, I guess, to, gig around or do anything with it. So
There would have been less in Lakeview.
right.
Look, I'm a
Exactly.
rural South Carolina. I love small towns, but yeah, even
Yeah.
Florence is small for this industry.
Right, exactly. But yeah, so I just kind of left it there and didn't really think anything of it. And then I went to Charleston, and someone that our family had known, they had a son. He was gigging in Charleston, was looking for a singer, and I was like, okay, like this could be fun. So I did it, and then that was when, people were like, oh my gosh, you're really good. Like, you should do something with it. And that was when I was getting other people's opinions rather than my family's. And I was like, okay.
Family
like,
can be a little biased.
right, exactly. So yeah, I was like, okay, and did 3 gigs in Charleston. And then my dad had sent me an email, and he was like, it's an open call for The Voice. And I was like, okay, yeah, I can do it. It's just a video, whatever, like I'll do it. And so I sent in a video, and they were like, you'll hear back from us within like 20 minutes if you get the call back to do more. And I was like, okay. And so I heard back from them, and I was like, no way. I was like, this is not real. This is a scam. I would like tell everyone I thought it was a scam, because I truly did. And then they were like, we want you to send 3 more videos of yourself and you singing 3 different songs, and we'll go from there.
What 3 songs do you remember that you sent? What were they?
So the first one I sent was Jolene by Dolly Parton.
Okay. All right.
Then the other 3 were Dreams by Fleetwood Mac, and then Crazy by Gnarls Barkley, and I think I did an Adele song, When We Were Young by Adele. That's one.
Okay.
Yeah. So I sent those in, and they were like, okay, we want to learn more about you, kind of get your story. And I was like, okay, wow. Like, I did not know it was going to go anywhere. So they did
that
one.
heart started beating.
Right. I was like, what is happening? So, yeah, they were like, okay, we want to do an interview. So we did an interview. It was like, like 20 minutes.
Just
wasn't super
online
long.
interview? Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yeah, on Zoom. And I was like, well, okay. And then that went really good. The girl was super nice. Just seemed like she wanted to know a lot about me. So it was so exciting. And then they were like, you'll hear back from us before spring break. So I was like looking for that time. And I was like, oh my gosh, like they're going to call me. I kind of like relaxed a little bit, kind of tried to take my mind off of it a little bit. And then they had called me, and they were like, hey, we're going to fly you out to LA to do the blind audition. And I was like, oh my gosh. I was about to go study at the library for a test I had. And I like could not even do that. I was like, whatever, I can't even do that right now. So I called my dad immediately, and he screamed over the phone. And he was like, oh my gosh, like no way. And I was like, I can't even believe it either. And so then I told like my closest friends, and it was just so cool. It was so exciting. It was like such a whirlwind at the time, because I was like, oh my gosh, music has not been this prominent in my life ever. And going from doing 3 gigs in front of people to going on The Voice is insane. So I was like, wow.
Little League football to Super Bowl.
Right. And I was just like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? And yeah, they, kept interviewing me, trying to get more of my story. And they were just so excited to have me out there. And then once I got out there, meeting so many creative people and being in such a creative space, I tell everyone that that was the best part of it, is to meet people that loved the same thing that I did.
It elevates you, doesn't
right.
it? I mean,
it makes you want to do so much more than what you even think you can do. And it was just so cool to see how they worked and their creative minds, and how they got into their space of how they were creating music. And it was just so cool to see people, my age and older and younger, to be so intrigued with music and have such a drive and passion for it. But yeah, so it was amazing when I got out there and seeing all that.
And so what occurred there? They invited you back to actually be on the show at that time?
Yeah, so
had they already made a decision that you were going to be on the show, or
they
that
didn't.
was okay, that was a further
Yes, so it's
vetting.
a whole process. It was It's almost, I wouldn't say necessarily like American Idol, but you know, you have to go through all the auditions before you actually get on the show. But yeah, we all got flown out there, the people that they were thinking would be on the show. I think it was maybe like around 45 people. And then, you know, they just kept slimming it down to like who was actually going to be or get the blind audition.
Were you able to converse with those folks? I mean, did you make friends or was it more of a competitive thing?
I think in the beginning it was more of like, wow, we're all here. This is a great opportunity.
Everybody was
Let's all meet each
star-eyed,
other.
right?
Like everyone was like, wow, let's meet each other. Let's do this. And there were some people who had been through the process, but you know, no one was really competitive at that stage of the point of where it was like, this is so new to everyone. So we just kind of were excited. We would have nights where we would all get together and have jam sessions. And yeah.
How long were you there? How long were you out there for? At that point?
Yeah, I was out there for a month, and then
Wow.
I came back for about 2 weeks, and then reconvened. And then they were going to tell you, you know, this is when you really get the call back to come out.
Right.
They had done, you know, things with the blind audition, such as like your outfit, like what you're going to wear, interviews, and just got stuff, you know, to kind of prepare for the show. And
where is that held? I failed to ask
it's
that.
in Burbank,
Okay.
California.
Mhm.
Yeah. So in Los Angeles, where all the like studios are, like Warner Brothers. And that was so cool for me to see because, you know, I'd never been that far away from home, I guess, for that long without my family. And
Was that on their dime or did you have to?
it was.
Oh,
it was
great.
on
Okay.
theirs.
Very
Yes. It was so cool. Everyone was so nice. The producers, everyone that worked on the staff, they were super, super nice. And they actually got to fly out 2 people from everyone that were going to be a part of like the blind audition pretty much. So, you know, my dad and my little brother got to be flown out, and yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay. And then at what point did you find out I'm on the show?
I found out once I went back, it was around towards the end of July, I guess. And that's whenever they called me and they were like, or they didn't even call, they just emailed me and they were like, hey, here's your plane ticket back out. And I was like, okay, it's really happening. But that was still, you didn't know if you were really getting an audition yet. They were going to.
What was your gut the whole time? Was your gut that you were in?
You know, I feel like I've always had like an inner peace in myself. And through God, like if it's going to happen, it will. If it's not going to happen, you know, it's not meant to be.
Well, that's a maturity level beyond your years, girl.
Oh, thank you. But yeah, I just think, you know, it was nerve-wracking, but like thinking at the same time, like if it is meant to be, it will be. And, you know, getting out there, and I found honestly a group that was so driven by their faith, and it really like instilled in me that, you know, there's always going to be a purpose to something. And if my purpose ends, like not my purpose, but if my journey ends there, then, you know, I still have a purpose when I go back home. I still have a life back home. And there's still things that are going to happen for me. It's not like a make or break thing. And that was something I constantly kept reminding myself. If it wasn't make or break, it was an opportunity. And someone actually was told that by their producer. They were like, okay, the odds of you winning this thing are super slim. You know, you never know. But even getting on is super slim. So take everything in. You're literally a sponge. Take everything in, soak it all in, and use that to your advantage when you go back. And yeah, so that was kind of what I was thinking the whole time.
So there were other believers there that you were able to
yeah, it was so cool.
engage.
It was, yeah. My grandma actually prayed. When I came back, she was like, I prayed for you to get a group out there that, you know, was driven by their faith. And that was when I was still kind of unsteady with my relationship with God. And we just went to a church every Sunday. And now I love that church. Like I watch it online almost every single Sunday. I love the sermons, the pastor. It's amazing. So we always went, and they had a really good music scene there and a worship scene. So it was so cool to be a part of that as well.
Yeah. I don't want to jump around too much. Have you ever sang in a choir? Did you?
I haven't. So when I was younger, I kind of did a little bit, but not necessarily where it was like, I guess I love more of the worship, the modern day worship that's happening right now. I did sing in the choir whenever it was, you know, more traditional, but I love like the modern day worship. I go to Seacoast in Charleston, so I absolutely love it, and I love the music. So,
good deal.
Yeah.
So when did the news came that you're on?
So then we were all out there still, and they were cutting people, and that was kind of a really scary part because people, you were making friends with these people and, they were upset that they were getting sent home. And after that, it was just kind of like, okay, now this is happening. Like once they made their cut, that was when it was like, okay, now you're going to be put on the schedule of what days you'll be performing. So then we were like, okay, if you got the first day, you obviously knew you were getting a blind audition. Then the second day, but towards the third day, they were making cuts to where it was like, if you didn't get within this time span, then, you were going, like you weren't going to get one. But I was on the second day, thankfully. And I think I was like in the middle, maybe like, I think I was sixth to go out of everyone, which was a nice little position to be in. But, we were hearing everyone's auditions and it was so crazy because, then you also had the people the day before coming back and being like, oh, like they were telling you not to tell anyone what had happened, but it was just bound to happen, right?
Yeah.
So my best friend actually came back. She was on the first day. She was like, I got 4 cheers. And I was like, oh my gosh, like that's so crazy. So then it was so cool. She was awesome to come back and tell me that. And, I was so excited for her. But yeah, going out there and actually that day, my mom and Dalton, my mom, and Shot and my dad were all in the audience, and no one had gotten a chair turn that day. So Dalton said he was getting so nervous. He was like, oh my gosh, like no one was getting it. And I had come out. I was the first one to get 4 chairs. And it was so funny because one of my friends backstage was like, all right, leave some of the chairs for us. And I was like, oh my gosh, please. Like, you're going to get a chair turn. And we both actually saw each other after, and we had both gotten chair turns. So.
At this point, was this the portion that was televised?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's all pretty much pre-recorded. But yeah, it was after that, they de-mic'd me, and they were like, how did it feel? I was like, honestly, I think I blacked out. Like, it's just like such a surreal moment, like seeing them turn while you're performing. It's like, I have to keep going. It was
And the
so
people
crazy.
in those chairs were no scrubs.
Right, exactly. So that was the craziest part too, is seeing them turn around. And there's a part in the song where it's like, yeah, yeah, and I was like, yeah, yeah. I was so excited. I was like, oh my gosh, I got 4.
Well, we got this clip. Can you go ahead and reel that, Zeb? No, it's the Sunday morning. Yeah. Look, I mean that's.
Right.
Oh boy! Look at her.
I love the call.
He was so fun. We got up immediately and started dancing.
So what did that do for your motivation when you saw those chairs coming?
It motivated me, but it scared me a little bit. You can still see the nerves.
No, you can't. You cannot see the presence is Rodney. And is that your twin or?
That's my little brother.
Okay. And I remember seeing that on TV, seeing Rodney and those, and how joyful they were. Look at you. Yeah, look at you, got everybody swaying. Yeah.
Wow.
To see them move around and have fun made me want to have more fun.
You had to feel good.
I did.
They love you. When you make people like that sway, you're doing something.
Oh,
That was fantastic. So, of course, I didn't know you were politics. And then on my Facebook feed, everybody was saying, man, you got to turn to the voice. You got to turn to the voice. You got to turn to the. I mean, it was rampant all over the place.
Yeah.
I mean, you had to feel that.
My phone
The locals were going crazy.
It was crazy. Well, this was like, we had done this before. So all of us were like, everyone on the show was like, oh my gosh, like we have to wait for it to come out. So that was like the most nerve-wracking part, is like, oh, like, you're going to get all this social media, but it's just like, almost the waiting time period, it was like, this is so crazy. So when it came around,
Did you have a disclosure where you couldn't say anything about?
yes. So when I came back, there was nothing I couldn't say. I was on the show. I couldn't say that anything was happening. So that was also so hard to keep in because it was just so exciting. But making friends there was the coolest part because we would all go home and be like, oh my gosh, like I miss talking to you because you're the only one that understands like what's going on. And it's so cool to have a community like that now too. Like, I can call up anyone and be like, hey, like this is what's happening in my music life right now. And they just completely understand. So
that circle remains intact.
it does.
And
yeah.
you never know what y'all collaborate on.
Right. Yeah.
Down in the
I'm actually
future.
going to New York, July 18th through the 19th and doing a reunion, performance with everybody. So it's so cool to have those friends and be able to do that.
Yeah, good stuff.
Yeah.
So how has your life changed?
Yeah, it's been, I think then I was not a different person, but was still like learning myself, and I continuously am, but just the confidence that I have, being able to go up and sing and do that. I mean, I think I did the whole thing backwards pretty much, is like now I'm gigging and trying to, keep it going, but had that like really high moment. So it's kind of just trying to stay steady and like the moments where it's just kind of a plateau and just being there. And so just being able to, perform in front of people and be more in a, I guess, a more personal environment with people. So, yeah.
Well, you had Adam, the song you sang, you had him to turn his chair. Did you get to speak to those folks, or were they kind of off limits?
I did, yeah. We would actually go in for practices with him, but they were all recorded pretty much. So not a lot, but he was so personable on camera.
That's what I want to hear, because you
Right.
hear all the horror stories about
Exactly.
how there's two sides of these folks.
But he, he was just so himself. I think he's been on camera so many times that he could just relax and be himself. And it was so cool. He brought in Kate Hudson, obviously, which was so cool. I think it was so funny. I listened to a podcast with her on it, like probably 2 weeks before that. And I was like, oh my gosh, I just listened to your podcast. And she's just now getting into her music career. She reminds me a lot of Stevie Nicks. So that was someone, I love Stevie Nicks. So it was so cool to see her and get to talk to her and see where she's going. And Adam actually looked at me. He was like, I love your voice. And I was like, oh my gosh, like to hear that from you. I was like, oh my gosh, I cannot believe that he would have even said that. And then we've also been listening to other podcasts that he's been on. He hasn't mentioned my name, but he's like, yeah, like everyone's like, oh, it's forbidden to do your songs on the show. And has anyone done it? Like, has anyone done it this year? And he's like, yeah, girl.
They just didn't know about this little rural South Carolina girl.
Right. And he's like mentioning me. He's like, this girl did it. And she did a really good job. And I was like, oh my gosh. Adam Levine saying that about me. But yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
She said she likes Stevie Nicks. I think we got another clip, don't we, Zach? We do. Let's see this one. I'm leaving again. Is this before?
It was after.
Yeah, the confidence is absolutely there.
Oh, thank you.
In every way.
Thank you.
So moving forward, what's I did a little bit of my due diligence, and I went on your TikTok. One of your posts, I think it had like 225,000 views.
Yeah.
So social media's
blowing up. It has taken off. It's kind of, I feel like social media is really hard for all artists because, I'm not someone who would videotape my day and say, hey, this is what I'm doing today, where I'm going. And it feels like that's kind of what you need to do in order to keep your followers and keep this attention on you.
Stay relevant. I mean, unfortunately.
And I love social media in the ways that it can be, positive. But again, that's just not something I do. So it's really been something hard to step into. And I really don't think I take a super big advantage of that. Like, I don't, use it all the time just because I've, like, again, what's happened will, or what's meant to be will happen. And I just think that, social media is a cool tool to use. But I don't know. I love, like, meeting my fans in person and people coming and they're like, oh my gosh, like, we saw you on The Voice, and I was like, oh my gosh, thanks for coming out. Like, I love that, people are coming out just to do that. And again, just that personal connection rather than through a screen. I try to get on social media as much as possible, promote it, use it as much as possible, but it's just not who I am, I feel like.
Okay, you got to stay true to yourself, right?
Right, yeah. But yeah, so I think that I love social media, but yeah, it can be used in different ways.
Well, you've maintained your modesty, I see, and humility, which is a great thing. And I
Thank you.
imagine that's a great deal because of your faith.
Yes, yes. I pray to have
humility is a big part of what we
Right.
believe as believers,
Right. I pray to have humility all the time because, you never want to be that person that I guess was, you start from the same place everyone does, So I actually had a guy in the music industry tell me that, like people have helped me. So I feel like I need to help people through the music industry as well. Like, it's still my job, even though I've gotten to be in this higher position, I still want to help people as much as I can. So I feel like that's where I want to end up is, always be true to myself. So yeah.
Well, early on, and I know it's tough to recognize folks, but is anybody, or do you get recognized now, or do you?
I do, yeah. I feel like it was more, it was a lot more prominent whenever I was first on The Voice. But yeah, people will still come up to me and they're like, oh my gosh, you're on The Voice. And I was like, yes. And it's just cool to see people, recognize me by that. But I think there comes a point in time where, you want to like stray away from it a little bit and become your own artist and let people know you by you and what you're coming up with and how you're being creative.
And how many times can you say, well, thank you. It's just it's tough to say that over and over and over. But
it is, but it was such a cool opportunity. I try to remind myself that not everyone gets that opportunity. So you just need to be really appreciative of it.
That is a once in a lifetime opportunity.
It is.
And look, I talk a lot about my belief. You've been marked. I mean, he's had set you aside. That's very obvious, and it looks like you've embraced it. And
Thank you.
I can't wait to see where this goes.
Yeah.
I'm hanging on to my autograph.
I'm glad.
So, Country Music Festival. I
Yes.
think we have just a little poster on that, don't we, Zeb? You're going to be, and I've attended this almost every year. I'm not going this year. I had a buddy that gets the super VIP.
Yeah.
And he took off the Aruba, so I'm without tickets this year. But you're going to be there, which is a huge honor. I mean,
It is.
this is one of the biggest festivals in the country. I mean, it's just taken off, as you know.
Yes.
So how did this come about? You're going to be there Sunday. Do you have a time? Is it?
I do. So I do an
let 'em
acoustic
know.
set at 1 o'clock, and then I'll do a full band set at 4 o'clock.
Oh, outstanding.
I know. I'm so excited.
Look, all our local people, and my audience is just local for the
Yeah.
most part. A lot of y'all are going to be down there. Be up front and center and
Please
cheer
do.
this girl on. Sunday at what time starting?
1 o'clock and 4 o'clock.
1
and
o'clock
I'll
and
be
4 o'clock.
performing new music. So
Okay. Is it original stuff?
it is. Yeah. I do 2 originals and then some other covers.
Did you write it?
I did.
Can you share the names of the song?
It's called Innocence. It's just
Okay.
about kind of. I feel like a lot of people always say they want to go back to that time, like when they were younger, and
Please.
yeah.
Well,
And you kind of wish it away when you're
can't
younger.
go. You're not there yet. There's nowhere back for you to go. You're too young.
But yeah, I was on the beach one day, and it just kind of sparked then, and seeing like kids play, and just that kind of innocence that they have, when they're younger, they don't really know things, and just kind of are really curious about everything. I heard some girl, I go to this workout class, and she's so inspirational, and she was like, you always want to kind of stay like a kid. Like they're always really curious about things, and you always just want to be curious about everything. And that just kind of like sparked it in me to kind of write a song about that. And, it talks about God and just like him protecting me from worldly thoughts and desires. And, just kind of that idea, even being curious, but kind of staying in that path with him. So,
Right.
yeah.
What genre would you consider the song? Is it a melody? Is it,
I'm not sure yet. I don't know what genre I'm fitting into yet. I love like all genres of music, so I was kind of thinking about that today. I think
you
it's
do
kind
pop,
of cool.
country. I
Right.
can see both with you.
It's fun to do
crossing
different
the
things.
boundaries,
Yeah, it's fun to do different things, and I think it would be really cool to, do songs that I love doing, but also kind of maybe doing a country song or like, like throwing one in there that's like really like people are like, what? She doesn't do that. Kind of like
Well,
shocking
you see
people a
artists
little bit.
leaning toward doing that more today, don't you? I
Right,
mean, going
yeah.
across lines and
Yeah.
not sticking to just one genre.
Exactly. Not to get like too comfortable in one thing and kind of, stretch out to other things, because I feel like when you do the different thing, then that's when it's like, oh wow, she's doing something different.
Yeah.
So
So you said you wrote a second song. What's the name of that one?
So Down That Road is the new song that I actually have. It's out right now. And it's just about me finding myself as an artist. I traveled with a band to Knoxville, Tennessee, and that's what it kind of plays into that, and like seeing how they, do their thing and how they travel as a band and what they do. And that just is, it's cool to see other sides of things, and just again like finding myself really in Charleston and doing those more personal gigs. And it just talks about just me finding myself and trying to figure out music as it comes.
You got plenty of time to do it.
Yeah.
What other things any notable dates that you got that we want to share while we're here? Or, how is there somewhere I can download or buy this?
Yeah, so it's
song?
on all
Talk to
streaming
me.
platforms.
Okay,
It's on Apple
okay.
Music, Spotify, Amazon, all of them. So
All right, I'm gonna check it out when I leave.
yeah, please do.
When I leave here today.
Yeah.
Any more notable dates that we can point people to?
Um,
You were in Florence a little while back because I did see you on social media.
yes, yeah.
I lose track of time, but I
Yeah.
think maybe a month or so ago. It might have been longer, but
Yeah. I'll be at the golf tournament for the Florence Country Club on June 12th.
okay.
Yeah.
All
So
right.
next Thursday, I think.
Very good.
Yeah.
Very good. So you're tracking all over the place from
I
Charleston to
am.
Florence to. You ever go to Columbia? I mean, there's a lot of venues down
Yeah,
there.
I've actually been asked to. It's just like kind of trying to. I don't have a like set band yet. The guys that I'm playing with, they're all in other different bands, which is the fun
Normally
thing
the
about
case, right?
It's like the cool thing about Charleston. That's how you get connected. Is everyone's in a different band or knows someone. So the music scene's really cool. But they're all in bands, so just trying to get them available is like a little hard. But they're all so fun and willing to do anything. So that's like the cool part about it.
Yeah, my favorite band of all time. You've probably never heard of them. Is Steely Dan, and
Yeah.
that's what they did. They brought in artists, different artists all the time.
Right,
It was the
right. Yeah.
two main ones, but they brought in
Yeah.
artists.
Yeah.
So outstanding, good stuff. Any more places that you can think of, or
I'm really mainly in Charleston a lot. I'm always on Tuesdays at By the Way, this new restaurant downtown, and Thursdays at Zachary's, kind of just like these little spots that are really fun and like thrive off of live music kind of. So yeah, that's where I am basically, pretty much in Charleston all the time.
good deal,
yeah.
good deal. Well, what a pleasure to have you
Oh, thank
this
you.
morning. Can you think of anything else that I've missed that maybe we could cover? You've been an absolutely delight.
Thank you. I appreciate it. There's nothing much. I'll be in the SC Living magazine. I'm not sure when it comes out, but
Okay.
taking some photos for that next week. So hopefully soon.
Yeah. Do you have an agent yet or anything like that? Or
I
you
don't.
Just, okay.
I am doing everything by myself with my mom. I guess a momager. That's what my friends call her. My momager. And then my dad. Obviously, he helps any way he can. They all travel all the time. They're back and forth to Charleston and try to be at everything. So.
What does that mean to have that nuclear family that follows you? I was big in sports, right? And mom, dad made every college game. It just
Right.
meant so much for them to be there.
Right.
And that's
Yeah.
what you're experiencing.
It's
right?
so nice to have them, to have like such a supportive family and a supportive background, because I feel like, you can't really do it without someone behind you and backing you. And the people that do, like, applaud to them, because I'm sure it's so hard. So I'm just so grateful that I have a family that, supports my music career and is so excited for me.
Yeah, as I said, you what we say in rural South Carolina, you come from good stock.
I do. Yes. Very lucky.
Good people on both sides. I know quite a few of them. In fact, any website or anything else we could point anybody to, or
Not necessarily.
you're
probably-
easy to find.
Yeah,
though.
just my Instagram and
Grace-Miller Moody.
TikTok and my social media. That's where you'll find everything and find what I'm doing, what I'm up to, or if anything's new.
Well, I want to thank you for being here. You've got far more followers than I could ever deliver to you. Yet you took
thank
the
you.
time to be here on the
Yeah,
Lions
of
Den. And
course.
I got to tell you, people were really anticipating you on here today. I had
Oh, well, I
tons of
appreciate it.
messages, calls, and I've been excited to meet you, and it
Yeah.
lived up to it. You're
Oh, thank
quite
you.
the young lady.
I appreciate it. I appreciate all the support. It's so nice. It's nice not only having it from my family, but other people from the South Carolina area, especially Florence.
Yeah, good deal. Good to see. Can I call you a country girl?
Yeah, I feel like
Great to see a
I have those
country
country
girl.
roots.
Step on up.
Yes.
Right? Well, thank you.
Yes, thank you.
We thank you for tuning into the Lions Den. I hope you enjoyed it. I sure did today. Can't wait to see what the future holds for this young lady. It's certainly bright, bright, bright. I admired her faith. Her presence is incredible, as you've seen here for yourself today. So looking forward, I'm going to hang on to this autograph. And one day I might cash that in.
I'll come back and give more.
I want to thank Zeb, the producer. Zeb back here just had a young boy. When was it? Last week, Zeb?
Not even.
Just a couple of days ago, right?
Yeah.
And his name is Zane. Zane?
Zane. Yeah.
Zane. It's his second one.
Aw.
And I think he weighed in at almost 9 pounds. He's got a little petite wife, so he's really putting her through it. It's their second child, and his first child looks like a linebacker already. And how old is your first child, Zeb?
4 in August.
4, yeah. He looks like he's 15.
Aw.
Might want to hire him for a bodyguard.
Yeah,
one day.
exactly.
Zeb, we thank you for producing this show.
Yes,
and
thank you.
especially during hectic times, 2 children and full-time work in this studio. But we thank you for that. Thank you for tuning in. We'll see you next week in the Lions Den. Have a great weekend, folks.